Welcome to Fenwick High School for this girls soccer matchup between the Friars and the Riverside-Brookfield Bulldogs. My name's Aaron Schellen. My broadcast partner today is Mike Napolitano. And Mike, it's good to see you. It's been a spell since you and I have been in the booth together.
Yeah, it's been since basically hockey season, right? We did a little bit of basketball here for Fenwick, and we're back here for the Friars once again.
We have a ceremonial kickoff, if you will. This is Lola Martinez, who will get us started. And Lola suffered an ACL injury in the first game of the season, and she's missed the year. The Notre Dame, incoming Notre Dame freshman, is coming off the field here as she gets a nice hand from the parents and her teammates as she gets an opportunity to start this one out on senior day, and Fenwick will send the ball long, and now we'll do the actual kickoff here at Fenwick. The Friars 6-5-4 on the season, 3-1-3 in conference play. Riverside-Brookfield 8-7-1, 4-2 in the Upstate 8, and the Bulldogs will get us started on a rainy, what is today? What, Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Rainy Tuesday afternoon from Fenwick, the corner of Division and Harlem. This is Michelle Panduro. She'll play it over to Abigail Ford. Ford chips it far side for Kaylee Guzman. And slick field here today, Mike. We saw it during warm-ups with the rain we've had. This turf is going to be slick, and I think any sort of low-line drive ball that you're trying to play a through ball or something like that, if you get it too low to the ground, I think we're going to see some balls skipping.
Going to make a lot of parts of this game tough. Throw-ins, of course. You're not going to have that grip. It's going to move on this turf, as you mentioned, and also for the goalkeepers, you got to watch out. That's going to take some funny hops, and you're also not going to have even the best grip with those gloves on.
Fenwick with the ball here. That's rolled forward. Madison Zarovich. Zarovich tries to chip it through to Edith Runyon and can't. The Bulldogs will take over here. Sophia Sanchez down the far side. Fenwick will steal. Coco Braithwaite down the far side with the ball. Braithwaite tries to dribble past one, gets cut off by a second Bulldog defender. A minute and a half gone by. Ball's just cleared to midfield where it's played by Natalie Capusta. You throw in for the Friars, far side of the field. Rainy afternoon, so all of our gear is covered with a towel, making things just a little bit more complicated, but we persevere, right?
Absolutely. We will survive. And so
just like the song says.
Yeah.
Fenwick with it here, Mary Brunick. Mary, another Friar headed to Notre Dame. She and Lola Martinez will be rocking the green and gold next season. That ball bounces over the foot of Runyon, taken here by Mariana Giron. It's cleared the length by Addie Robel-Zloka.
Coming out to play that, the Bulldogs goalkeeper. And a punt coming only just short of midfield.
Maya Tennicott is the starting goalie for the Bulldogs here today. It's a good ball to Leah Becker. Becker tries to go one-on-one, dishes it off to Jocelyn James. Taken off her foot, and good play there up to Quinn Sansone. Sansone throwing it forward. Now a break the other way for Fenwick. That's a good ball through, but able to cut it off is Guzman. Rolled ahead. Braithwaite. Coco tapping it far side. Fenwick tries to move forward, cut off by Ruby Boyle. And Boyle plays it out of bounds, throw in for the Friars.
Friars have done a nice job in the midfield, keeping tight triangles, finding lanes for passes, and trying to move the ball forward without forcing it too much. But they've had the majority of the possession and not able to get that extra touch in the last 18.
That midfield game is always the most important, right? It's those forwards, those strikers who get the the glamour, right? They get the
Right.
goals, they get to celebrate, but it's that midfield game. You know, those back line defensemen moving up, those midfielders who must run 12 to 15 miles a game, right? Just back and forth between the boxes, and that midfield game is really what sets you up. Taken here by Sansone. 19 goals in 14 games for Quinn as a sophomore. Fenwick here, chipping it top of the box, looking for Zarovich. Doesn't work, but it'll be another throw-in for the Friars. And you can feel, you know, like you said, they haven't been able to make that final pass, but it's been a good first couple of minutes. You feel like they're going to break through here at some point relatively soon, and we're going to get a foul called on Riverside-Brookfield here. So good opportunity for Fenwick about 10 yards outside of the box.
This will be.
Looks like McGee to take this.
This will be direct. Referee is going to count off 10
yards,
10
yep.
paces. Move the line back there.
You always try to cheat, right? Always try to get 2 or 3 extra yards up.
As a defender, maybe I'd take an extra step forward after they line you up. I wasn't the tallest guy, so I got to make sure you're big somehow, right?
You played at Schaumburg, right?
I did, yes.
Schaumburg High School soccer star and legend Mike Napolitano.
I don't know about either of those, that's for sure. But I know what to do. I wasn't always the one to be able to execute, you know?
You knew what to do, you just couldn't always do it.
Do as I say, not
That's
as I
right.
do.
McGee here with the corner. That's into the area. Played by Fenwick. Runyon cut off top of the box. One-on-one battle that's taken by the Bulldogs. Played forward to Charlotte Pinnock. Pinnock loses it to Robel Zolka. And it'll be a throw-in here for Riverside-Brookfield. Play right in front of us. And that flag is up. They kept playing, but that throw-in flag was up. It'll be a throw-in for the Friars.
Yeah, that ball crossed the plane there, so Fenwick possession once again. They've done a nice job of, as you see right there, bringing it down. A couple of through the legs. They call that a meg, but just trying to find that extra teammate there.
Love a good nutmeg.
Yes.
Right? Everybody loves a good nutmeg. Here's Capusta, Natalie, far side to Stephanie Gonzalez. Stephanie, one of the seniors who will be honored at halftime today. She said it to Benedictine. You and I were just talking about Benedictine before the game, the sports information director over there, Tim Calderwood.
Yes.
We were talking about Tim, and you'll get to know Stephanie over the next couple of years as she'll be attending Benedictine next season.
Voice of the Schaumburg Boomers, Tim Calderwood. Done it for a number of years since
forever. Did you see his post today?
Yeah.
With the white, with the yellow suit, with the bow tie.
Yep, that was him last night at opening day. Well, home opener, I should say. And yeah, he's excited to call another season.
Yeah, he's been there forever. Riverside-Brookfield. That was Abigail Ford. She'll just play it out of bounds. Throw in for the Friars, and you can feel the field is tilted a little bit down to our right. Friars trying to break through here about 7.5 minutes in. Good ball there. Nice move by McGee to get clear. Top of the area. Nobody home.
We've spent a lot of time in this last third of the field for the Friars, but still nothing to show for it. But here comes the Bulldogs the other way.
And Leah Becker going one-on-one with Robel Zakola, and it's out of bounds for a throw-in.
That's good defense right there. You just got to stop the rush because you're kind of all alone back there. Give your defensive line a chance to track back.
Yeah, Addie, just a freshman, so freshman playing varsity soccer, so obviously expecting big things out of her, and that was good defense down the near side. So Sophia Freck getting the starts. First time we've called her name today. Just the 4th time that Sophia has seen the field this season, but again, one of the seniors. Through ball looking for McGee, doesn't work. Now the other direction with it comes James. The ball's taken away by Capusta. Capusta to Runyon. Edith. It's cut off and met by Michelle Panduro. Right back to Runyon. Now Runyon with a little bit of space. Tries to run onto that ball, and should be a throw-in for Fenwick, and it will be. It looks like the rain is starting to ease up a little bit. It's coming down pretty hard there for a little bit before we got started today.
It's actually getting a little brighter out. We've got the sun peeking through some of those rain clouds now, and hopefully...
It's not very often you and I are warm when we're calling a game together, is it?
That is true.
We spend a lot of time calling hockey and then spring sports when it's not warm. So the fact that I'm not freezing right now is a plus.
It's comfortable. I was just about to say maybe it'll warm up with the sun. It's not going to dry things out too much here on this pitch, but we'll see if that changes the game just a little bit as far as...
And a turf pitch probably won't be dry until tomorrow at some point. And now here comes Kapusta with a head of steam down the far side, but rolled off her foot for a throw-in for Riverside-Brookfield. Oh, so we'll be here 3 times this week. Not you and I specifically, but
right.
Shellen Sports Media will be here to broadcast 3 Fenwick High School events this week. We've got girls lacrosse on Friday night, followed by softball on Saturday, and that's more good defense by the Friars' Natalie Kapusta. It will be a corner kick, though, for the Bulldogs.
Both teams trading corners here in the first 10 minutes of the game. This one exactly at the 10-minute mark. As you see, there's only 30 minutes to go. We had that ceremonial kickoff. The clock did not start for
correct, yeah.
And then the actual gameplay.
This is Ruby Boyle, and just off the outside of that right foot, hits the side of the net, and it'll be a goal kick here for the Friars. Checking in for the first time for the Bulldogs, this is Audrey Raymond. She'll come in, and it looks like Charlotte Pinnock will take a seat. 2 40-minute halves, and then they'll do senior day at halftime. And at halftime, Mike and I will turn our headsets down. We'll turn the crowd mic up, and hopefully we'll be able to bring you the senior day festivities. The camera or the speakers and the microphones are going to be pointed the other direction, so I don't know how much of it we're going to get, but we will do our best. This is Ford trying to get away from McGee. Taps it over to Tumpach. Back to Ford. Abigail Ford. Head up. Gets it to Raymond. Raymond now Giron, and that's coming our way. You throw in for the Friars. Bit of a miss hit. This will be taken by Robles-Zucola. Gets it back here and just misplays it with her left foot out of bounds. Throw in for Riverside-Brookfield. Taken here. A little bit too much mustard on that pass from Runyon, looking for Sansone. Almost a giveaway. McGee on the attack, and that's out of bounds.
If you're the Bulldogs, you maybe got to switch the field there and swing that to your far side defensive line. It's too much pressure over here from the Friars. The Friars have done a nice job of containing the triangles. I mean, the Bulldogs have found passes, but they're really all in the same spot, and the Friars are right outside of that triangle, just lurking, ready to steal that ball right back. Good
layers of defense. And you and I both big hockey guys, and defensive layers so important, right? To have, you have that line of defense always waiting to back you up. And foul here called on Riverside-Brookfield. Ball played forward to Brunick. Brunick tries the through ball. That makes it through McGee. Is she going to be able to run onto it? She does over in the corner. Bulldogs able to get back defensively. McGee again now with some space. And she goes for goal, but puts it wide of the far post. Still no shots on goal for either side. So while Fenwick has controlled the possession here, nothing really dangerous for the Bulldogs as of yet. Quick reset, Ford. That's the tap from Tennicott, her goal keep. Braithwaite finds Zarovich. And lose possession coming the other way. Ruby Boyle now. Boyle with some space up through midfield. Boyle delays, tries to walk forward through Stephanie Gonzalez, and Stephanie there to cut her off, but that'll be a throw-in. Top of the area, Panduro chips it out wide. Ball thrown into the box, but mishit looking for Jocelyn James. So goal kick, Fenwick. Sophia should be going to Purdue. Should be a Boilermaker in the fall.
Fenwick will get a throw in here off the shin of the Bulldogs attacker, and we've got a crowd in this corner over here with the wet ball, as I was talking about earlier. It's tougher to make that throw in, right? So not going to see a whole lot of long throw-ins, and you're just going to kind of keep your opponent in the corner there if you can, and the Bulldogs have done that. It's the first offensive opportunity really we've seen from them thus far.
They have the ball right at the edge of the box, but Robles-Acola will take over, and she does a good job just firing it down the sideline and forcing the Bulldogs to throw it in. Bulldogs seem to have settled into it a little bit as they gave up a lot of the possession in the first 8 to 10 minutes, but a little bit better here as of late. Braithwaite, though. Coco will stop, come back to her left, rolling it forward to Sansone. Sansone right across the Fenwick logo, now with some speed down the near side, looking for McGee up ahead. Hits McGee, and that's played out of bounds. And that's a really good job by the Friars to turn defense into an offensive possession. Hemmed in a little bit, and then bam, you look up, and you got to play right at the top of the area. Here's Brunick. Brunick to space. That ball is deflected off the body of Sophia Sanchez, taken by Ruby Boyle. Boyle into some space in the middle of the field. Audrey Raymond gets cut off by Brunick, and she'll circle around, play it over to the right. Boyle towards the top of the area. That's headed out by Chloe Kotinek. First time we've mentioned Chloe's name today. That ball's put to space. Run on to by Abigail Ford. Oh, that ball skips past Kotinek, and Sophia Freck had to be Johnny on the spot, so to speak. We talk about the wet field. I think you saw it right there. That ball did not take a true bounce. It sort of hit the ground and skipped past Chloe.
Kotinek, a little bit of almost handball from her right there. Reaction was to just stop it right there, I think, and it was bouncing up towards her midsection. And look out, there's one over the top of the line, but just going to be going too far for the attack.
A little bit too much as McGee was bearing down on Maya Tennicott.
We've seen a couple of through balls that go over the back line, and both teams not playing with a very high line. So that's not really going to do you too well if the defense is dropping back with your attackers, because they're just going to head that ball out of there, and we've seen that from the Fenwick side. That time we saw the ball get through, but not enough room for the Friars attack.
We saw a through ball attempt there. Those are going to be real, and we talked about this a little bit. It's going to be really, really hard on this pitch today, being as wet as it is. Those types of low through balls, they're going to pick up speed as they're played through. So you need to be able to feather the ball, so to speak, Mike, right? Take a little bit off it, maybe a little backspin on it if you can. But anything that's hit with any sort of force forward is just going to get faster as it moves.
Well, we've got a little wind today, too, and actually I was at the Chicago Fire game as press over the weekend. One of the biggest issues was the wind. Of course, you're on the lakefront there.
Yeah, Soldier Field's a different beast.
A little bit different scenario, but anything that's up in the air is going to take its own course, right? So you want to try to keep it on the ground, but as you said, Aaron, everything's skipping, so it's going to be a little bit faster and might not be completely on the ground nicely when it gets to you.
Right, maybe take a little bit off those long ball attempts there. That's a good steal by Robles-Acola. Taps it top of the box. Sansone will turn, play it over to McGee. McGee tries to cut back to her right. Now Zarovich finds Brunick. Brunick the left foot into the box, and there's our first shot on goal of the match. It's off the left foot of Mary Brunick, the save made by Tennicott. We're going to have a host of substitutions at the next whistle here as Raiden Roach and Lucy Gruber will come in for the Friars at the next opportunity, and then a trio of Bulldogs will come on out as it's played back to Freck. Far side Gonzalez. Stephanie, that's a good ball up ahead. Nobody covering McGee there. McGee turns, knocked off her foot. Would help defense now the other way. Panduro with some space. Panduro tries to roll it forward for James, and getting there is Sophia Freck. Good job by Sophia to be aggressive there coming out onto that ball. Here's Ford. Ford turns, left foot up into the midfield area. Raymond cut off nicely by the Friars. Brunick knocked away from her by Raymond. It'll be a throw-in for Fenwick. We've got Jalen Manjares into the game for the Bulldogs, along with Camila Martinez. And Ruby Barajas is the third substitution. I mentioned Braden Roach and Lucy Gruber for the Friars. Sansone. Try the other side, try to flip the field.
Fenwick solid on their throw-ins. They know that even if it's thrown to a certain area, you got to go to the ball, attack it, and you could always flip the field. Look out.
Yep, trying to hit Sansone. We talked about Quinn Sansone, 19 goals, 7 assists in just 14 games. So scores or assists on just about every single Fenwick goal. And you see the skill she has there. Knocked away from McGee, taken right back, though, by the Friars. Brunick now to Roach. Roach trying to find Sansone, doesn't work. Up through midfield, Fenwick flipping the field again here a little bit. Knocked away from McGee, now played over Brunick. Brunick to space, trying to run onto it is Zarovich, and she played the ball in the corner and tries to get the left-footed cross, but she was just in too deep, and that'll be a throw-in, or excuse me, a goal kick for Riverside-Brookfield.
With goal totals like that, you got to expect that Sansone will probably find the holes in the defense at some point, right? So if you're on the Bulldogs side of things, you maybe tighten up the gaps, maybe put almost 2 defenders on her to make sure that there isn't a gap there so that a breakaway doesn't happen like we almost saw, right?
A little bit of bracket coverage, right? Exactly. Somebody on both sides of her trying to keep the ball off her foot. But talent usually works out. Talent usually wins, right? They usually find a way to get some space and break clear. So we'll see what happens here as we're down to 18 minutes left in the first half. Still no score. Friars and the Bulldogs. A non-conference matchup.
That one came back out. We'll get some subs here.
Yep, Fiona McKinnon in for the Friars. Charlotte Pinnock is back in, and Valeria Martinez will come in as well for the Bulldogs.
You see Addie wiping that ball off not only on her hands but on the jersey as well.
Yep, trying to get a good grip on it. That's off the right shoulder of Baraja. Sansone. Tap it far side, Gruber. As the Friars try to switch the field here a little bit, Gruber taking the space being given to her. McGee dribbles through some traffic, the left foot trying to go over the top, looking for Roach, and I think it's going to be a corner kick for the Friars as that was deflected by Riverside-Brookfield. So the second corner of the match for Fenwick will come with just under 17 minutes left in the first half.
You saw Maggie McGee. She was really doing a great job of keeping those defenders on her backside and then not forcing the ball, right? She kind of turns with it and then finds nobody, so decides to put the shot on, gets that deflection, and it earns a set piece from it.
This will be McGee on the corner kick. Low right-footed cross, top of the area, skips through and Running it down will be Quinn Sansone. And we'll chip it back to Gruber. Gruber bracketed, finds Sansone, and smartly the Friars will start over. Here's Kapusta. Up into the middle, Brunick. Robles Zakola, gets it back here. She gets the ball taken away from her by Barajas. Barajas flipping it forward. Martinez, almost another giveaway there. That should be a throw-in for the Friars. 15 minutes and change left in half number one.
Bulldogs did a really good job of stepping up to that ball when there was a little bit of confusion for the Friars on where they were going to go with it, and the Bulldogs take the opportunity there.
Up the near side. It's rolled into the middle where Madison Zarovich will take it. Zarovich going to Missouri. Maybe a Tiger next season. Sansone, you see, just shot out of a cannon. That ball just rolls off her foot. She's going to be called for the foul, but you can just see the speed there. And she was able to settle that ball down. I think, again, that wet pitch kind of had that ball skip away from her a little bit, but she was able to control that. You can see why the goal scoring is there for number 5 in black.
Starting to figure it out a little bit against, a different team. You may have those numbers in high school, but you're not always seeing the same opponents, right? Might be a little skewed, so you just kind of got to figure things out here in the early stages and then move your offense. You don't want to force the ball too much like we were talking about earlier, so whenever you can get a solid, sure chance, you want to go with it. But you want to be careful if you're Fenwick, right? I mean, the Bulldogs have had a number of quick opportunities the other way when they jump on a loose ball, and you don't want all that possession to go to waste with one quick goal the other way.
And you see it a lot, right, where one team will control the pace of play, and then, maybe a mistake or a miscommunication or a bad ball, and all of a sudden the ball's in your own net. You see it here. This is a giveaway by Fenwick, and this shot through by Camila Martinez forces Sophia Freck to make her first save of the game. Almost another giveaway here, but getting on to that is Kotinek first. Settled down by Sanchez. Sanchez cut off by Sansone. Sansone now with some space. Sansone patient. Flips it forward. This is McKinnon. McKinnon wide, top of the box, and that will be another corner kick for the Friars.
We're going to have some Bulldog substitutions here in just a second, but first the corner kick. Another set piece for the Friars. This is their third corner kick of the day. We still got about 13 minutes here to go in this first half.
From the far side, that looks like McGee over there. My eyes aren't good enough. I think that's number 18.
Yeah.
She moved the flag and was immediately told,
put
put that back.
Not supposed to move the flag. You got to kick around it.
That's put into the side of the net. Goal kick for the Bulldogs. 3 subs coming in. 3 starters back into the game. Kaylee Guzman, Leah Becker, and Jocelyn James. So down to about 12 and a half minutes. So again, once we get to halftime, Mike and I will mute our mics, turn up the crowd mic, and we will do our senior day festivities as the Friars are honoring 5 seniors here today. Mary Brunick, Lola Martinez, Stephanie Gonzalez, Madison Nazarovich, and Sophia Freck. Chance here for the Bulldogs. Martinez rolling it forward, looking for Barajas, but again, play that ball on a dry pitch. Maybe Barajas is able to run onto that, but on this wet field, that ball just picks up speed, and it'll be a throw-in for the Friars.
The Bulldogs are starting to find a little bit of their attack in the middle of that final third for them, so Fenwick got to be careful in their own 18.
Now here's McGee trying to go 1-on-3. She's cut off by Raymond. Raymond forward to Becker. That ball skips away from Fiona McKinnon, but backing her up was Gruber. Middle of the field, Brunick. Knocked down there was McGee, no whistle, so we'll play on. Good Friar layers, though, as that ball is headed into the midfield area. played by Zarovich. Pass near side, not enough on it, and that allowed Riverside-Brookfield to get back into the play defensively. This is chip near side for Roach as the Friars try to switch the field, and I think a bit of a miss hit there by Braden. She looked back at her teammates and just laughed as that ball went straight up on her.
Yeah, there was a little bit of backspin on that one, and even when she was anticipating that ball to come to her, she had to kind of go to it just a little bit. But
yeah, she was trying to play it forward, and because of the backspin, the ball went the wrong direction on her. As going to roll across the end line for goal kick for the Friars.
Well, this back line for Fenwick has to be careful. We just saw a really nice play there from Kotenyuk. And, you know, it's just a matter of time before this Bulldogs team can really put the pressure on and take that ball in a dangerous area. So if you're Fenwick, you got to look to your outside backs to maybe make some overlapping runs up the sidelines, get that offense a little bit of help, and expand the field a little bit.
I like listening to Mike Napolitano talk soccer. I'm so used to hearing you talk hockey, and to hear you bust out the soccer references, I love it. I didn't know you were. I didn't know you were as big a soccer guy as you are.
I've probably played more competitive, organized competitive.
Organized
soccer,
is probably a better word, yeah.
Than I've played hockey. I love hockey as well, of course, but
yeah,
I've just, you know, as a center defender or even sometimes an outside back myself, I know how to command that back line, and when I see it done right, I'm applauding.
Yeah, call it out.
Sure.
There you go. Friars a little bit of pressure here, almost a handball there on Barajas, no call. Friars will start over back around midfield. Collision there. McKinnon loses the ball, and the Bulldogs start to walk forward with it. Pinnock into midfield. Getting back is McKinnon nicely. There's good help by Kotenyuk. This is chipped up in the air and forces Sophia Freck to make the catch. So we're under 9 minutes.
Well, there's that ball over the back line that we were talking about. Before that, what was working for the Bulldogs wasn't that. It was balls being played through the center, and that one runs out of room and finds its way back to Freck, and she makes short work of it. But on a rainy day, you never know if one of those maybe slips through the arms.
Yeah, those pop-ups, if you will, like those can be difficult on a day like today. Slip right through the arms.
She's got her help from her midfield now, though, as the Fenwick Friars switch the field.
Ball through to McGee. McGee in, and she scores just like that. The Friars are up on the board. It's 1-0. As the goal scored by McGee, her 6th of the year, puts Fenwick out in front by a goal.
It's a great ball by the midfield to work that up quickly and switch from defense to offense. We talked about the Bulldogs' attack just a little bit there, and yeah, it was a beautiful movement of the game through the center of the field for Fenwick. It was kind of what the Bulldogs were doing there, and I mentioned earlier that if you're Fenwick, you had the majority of the possession. You don't want the Bulldogs to come down quickly and score. Well, they flipped the entire game.
Yeah.
The Bulldogs had a lot more of the possession leading up to that goal right there, and then Fenwick, as soon as they touched the ball, they went right to work. And beautiful offense starting from their defense.
And Kiera McGee, her 6th goal of the season, and that was a nice feed by Quinn Saint-Son. We talked about her goal-scoring ability, but she picks up an assist there, and the Friars jump out in front with 8 minutes left.
Added to the tally there.
Absolutely. Be a throw-in for Fenwick. And we've seen them a couple of times turn defense into offense really quickly, right? Where it feels like, you know, maybe an opportunity for the Bulldogs, and then you look up and Fenwick is down the other end of the field. When we saw it right there, that was explosive offense by the Friars. Now Kaylee Guzman. Ball skips down the near side, and Ruby Boyle will tip it out of bounds. Should be a throw-in for the Friars. And it will be, yep.
Yeah. On this side, we saw Elia Bersua box out on that goal kick, but she boxed herself out too, and with the way the ball's moving on the turf today and maybe a little bit of the wind, that went straight out of bounds, but Bulldogs able to still move it down the field, just not in bounds.
Ball's punched back to midfield. Taken here by Sansone. Quinn. There's your Meg.
Yeah.
Kara McGee right through the legs.
She's feeling confident right now after that goal. And Fenwick using triangles nicely in midfield just to kind of move the ball in between midfielders and attackers, but also not force it. You saw her kind of cut back to her own half right there. And even though they're not on the ball right now, not in a high pressure situation, you had your defense back and able to force the corner right there.
It was one-on-one play down there. Ruby Boyle and Chloe Kotinik, and Boyle able to win the corner kick on the one-on-one. Her last corner kick into the side of the net. We'll see if she comes up with something a little more effective here on this one as Kiara McGee will sit down.
Because though she's a righty, so.
Ball's going to bend the other way.
Yeah.
This one into the middle of the box. Easy play there, though, for Fenwick. And here's Gonzalez winning the ball and trying to generate some space. Tries to spin away from the defense, but gets cut off by Isla Furestein.
She didn't have a whole lot of help in the vicinity. Had two white jerseys on her and did the best she could to just kind of keep that on her back foot and work it to an area. Unfortunately, that area was the line and out of bounds.
On top of the box, Boyle played out of bounds. Throw in for the Bulldogs as we approach the 5-minute mark. That's headed out by the Friars. Back to Gonzalez, and Gonzalez content to chip it out towards midfield. Nanjarez has to go back and get it. That's launched back the other way, and there's too much on it, and it'll roll in to Sophia Freck, who will make the save. That's a dangerous ground ball there, but Friars able to take possession. At least for the moment, it's knocked away from Robel Zakola.
We've seen Freck and a couple of those center backs try to play that ball through the middle, and every single time the Bulldogs have stepped up to either steal the ball or at least put pressure on their defense. And I don't know if the middle is going to be the route for this Fenwick team to move the ball up. Of course, we saw the goal, the second third of the field was a lot of play through the middle, but not on your back half.
And once you get into the attacking habits, I mean, you know, there's so many similarities between soccer and hockey, right? In hockey, you never want to play the puck right down the middle. You want to go up the boards. You want to go around. And in soccer, it's similar. Defensively, you want to be along the sidelines. You want to be in an area where you're not right out in front of your goalkeep. And then, obviously, when you get into the attacking zone, the goal is to get the ball into the middle of the field. It's where your best opportunities typically are going to come from.
In hockey, it's typically called a pizza when you send it up the other or the middle, and you give a free pass to the other team. And in soccer, you're not really seeing that too much, but when you have possession defensively, you try to swing that ball, you're really only going to see one of the center backs touch it. Unless you absolutely are so spread out you need the other center back to touch it, you want to just try to get it out to the wings as quickly as possible so you could take that space up the sideline.
Throw in here with about 3 minutes left. Ball's thrown into the box, and reaching up to grab it is Maya Tennicott. Tennicott towards the midfield stripe. And Fenwick are right back on the counterattack.
I believe that's the second, if not the third punt that we've seen from her today, and they've come just short of half. So if you're the Friars, maybe pull your midfield up to win a 50-50 ball on those big kicks.
And move up just a hair. Here's Zarovich down the far side. Tries to roll it forward for Coco Braithwaite, but too much behind it, and that'll be throwing Friars. I would say this was a solid first half for the Friars. Maybe not spectacular, but you get the goal, you play good defense. That's really what you're looking for in your first 40, right? You just play some solid soccer, don't make a lot of mistakes, and you go into the break with a lead.
Definitely not forcing the ball. That's good. You did put one on the board, so you know it's not like you're still chasing that one or chasing the game itself. But, yeah, I'm sure they'd like to get a little bit more attack going on that back line and put in another one, maybe give yourself a little bit of breathing room against this Bulldogs team.
Mary Dobry in for the first time. Here's Braithwaite. Trying to play it through for Zarovich, but knocked down there. Taken here by Panduro. Panduro throwing it forward, but Kapusta's there to cut it off. Now Braithwaite, Coco Braithwaite down the far side. Stops, lets the traffic go by. Chips it ahead for Gruber, who doesn't know it's there. That lets Riverside-Brookfield possess. Good head there by Robles-Zacola. Midfield here with about 1:10 left. Friars slow with it, deliberate. You don't want to make any mistakes in the final 60 seconds. And they try the long through ball for Mary Dobry and just not able to get there, but that's a good attempt by the Friars. You could see that play setting up. The Friars were being very patient and deliberate with their passing, and then all of a sudden Mary streaking down the near side. Try that ball over the top, but knocked out of bounds. Throwing Friars. Maybe time for one more attack. You got about 30 seconds left in the half. Battle won by the Bulldogs. Back up towards midfield. That'll skip by Kotinik, and Kapusta now plays it over to Gruber right on the Fenwick logo. Gruber gives it away, though. Feuerstein, she gives it away down to 10 seconds. Braithwaite, the left foot, that's knocked back over to Feuerstein as we're down to 5 seconds, and that is how the first half will come to an end. The only goal of the half, there's our horn, only goal of the half, scored by Kiera McGee, and that'll send us to halftime with the Friars up 1-0. Mike and I will be back with second half action, but stay tuned for Senior Day.
I looked at it as I was saying it. I'm like, oh, wait.
It's Kiera. I don't know. I noticed that as it happened.
So do you have another?
Let's turn. Do I have another what?
Did you have a number 4 on defense?
It's Kotina.
Kotinik. Okay, I got you. I was like,
Can you brighten us some? It's dark.
Good work, Sophia.
oh yeah.
Dude, it's crispy in there.
With the change in the sun,
Yeah.
clouds, I was kind of testing that as we were going.
A little bit more.
You're the culprit. You stole them from my bag.
Right there.
Just quickly.
Yeah, he sounded good on here too.
Yeah.
Okay. Crowd mic is right there, so hopefully nobody says anything inappropriate.
Same. Good work, Daddy.
Jake's baseball team is 0-5, and they've gotten.
But you know what? My
They've
shirt
gotten
is
run
wet.
ruled in every single game they've
Sweat.
played.
It's wet.
Here they're down. Oh, here we're up 1-0. Bottom of the first, bases loaded.
White Sox versus the Lombard Dodgers.
They only had enough kids to put together one Wheaton team this year, so we're playing Lombard and Wheatland, and actually there's 2 Lombard teams. And we've got,
Oh, you got a new one. This one's a couple years
yeah,
old.
there's a team in Wheatland, there's a couple of teams in
Different?
Lombard, there's Warrenville.
The new one, yeah. Oh, this is all.
Second half action about to get started here from Fenwick. Friars up 1-0 on a goal by Kiera McGee. And we tried with the audio, but with the speaker and the microphone down at the far side of the field, we just couldn't hear anything. So we brought you some video. You got to see it, you got to watch it. You could imagine what was being said, all the glowing things said about these young ladies who are moving on to greater things beyond this year. Mary Brunick and Lola Martinez going to Notre Dame. Stephanie Gonzalez to Benedictine. Madison Zarovich to Missouri. And Sophia Frack off to Lafayette, Indiana to play for the Boilermakers. And we'll get a foul called as Sansone was pushed down. So it'll be a direct kick for the Friars here. Good set piece potential for Fenwick, about 10-12 yards out of the box.
Got to think this may come on goal or at least over that line. They're going to hold the 18 right there as normal. Count it off those 10 paces. Move the line back just a tad, and it's right to the 18.
Yeah, you think on net, hope for a rebound. And
with the way the ball's curving today, I wouldn't be surprised.
This is put up over the crossbar. Good attempt by Sansone, but just a little underneath it. Goes over the crossbar. Goal kick.
I don't hate that effort. I mean, that's a tough one if it finds its way into one of those top corners with the wind today. It's just the wind has died down a little bit here as the second half has begun, and loss of the rain.
Yeah, comfortable. It's turned into a comfortable evening.
Yeah.
Here's Sansone again with some space. She'll take the shot, and the save is made. It bounces away, and able to pounce on it is Tennicott, but you saw Sansone didn't need much space there. Just got a little bit of room, and was able to get a lot on that right foot.
And again, another goal or another punt from the goalkeeper that finds its way just before the half. So you got to step your midfield up to win those 50-50 balls. Fenwick gets possession, plays back to their keeper, but they can move that ball a little bit forward if they can win the 50-50 ball initially.
The shove there on Lucy Gruber. No call. Goes out of bounds. Throw in for the Bulldogs. Now here's an attempt for Boyle. Boyle in the box. Boyle with the shot. The cross. And on the back doorstep with Charlotte Pinnock as the ball bounced up over her foot.
Probably the most dangerous attempt we've seen from the Bulldogs thus far in this game. And that's just a matter of, on the throw-in, just a little bit of lackadaisicalness on the Fenwick defensive side of things, letting the attacker get underneath them, and then that cross coming from the near side is tough to really snuff out once it finds its way across the goal mouth.
Spoken like a true center back. Listen to you.
You flatter me too much. I'm retired.
You're retired, yeah. I haven't run as much as these girls have run today. I don't do that anymore.
That I still do.
I know
it's
you
not,
do. Yeah, you're in
not
shape.
enjoyable, though.
You're in good enough shape for both of us. It's fine. Rolled up the far side. Nobody home. Played by the Bulldogs.
If I had a soccer ball to kick on those runs, it'd be a lot more enjoyable.
There you go. Dribble while you're on your 5-mile run or something. It would take you a whole lot longer, I would imagine.
Gosh, yeah. I'm already trying to set aside 2 hours. Got to do more,
Well, it is summer, and that means it's baseball season for me, and I tend to be in better shape during baseball season because when you're in a hotel room on the road, there's not a whole heck of a lot you can do other than sleep and work out. So that's what I do. This ball comes down the other way. McGee wants a foul called, and we get a very late whistle, but Kiera gets her whistle.
She was almost the referee on that one.
The referee was just waiting on change of possession. But that was a late whistle for sure.
I understand maybe wanting to call the advantage and hold off on that, but, I mean, the ball got worked the other way, so it either is going to be an initial whistle, and now McGee, she's going to ask for those 10 yards.
As she should. I was going to see those three blockers for the Bulldogs were nowhere near 10 yards. McGee puts it through, and the save is made by Tennicott, and that'll go out for a throw-in. Good ball there by Kiera McGee.
Tennicott, a nice save there, had to slide on her knees, and luckily the turf is slick for that, but also that's what caused that ball to carry that far over.
And she did a great job directing the ball where she wanted it to go, right? Like she didn't feel the ball into her body. She used her hands to deflect it, but deflected it off into the corner where no harm could come from it.
That'll be another Fenwick throw in over here, so the danger's not completely cleared as the Friars still look to put on the offensive pressure here.
It hit somebody's arm. I didn't call it, but it hit somebody's arm in that pile of bodies. Fenwick will take possession here. Zarovich has it knocked away from her. That's good defense, though, by Brunick to take it right back. Now Sansone spins, tipped away. She'll get it back and plays it back to Gruber. Lucy Gruber switches far side, Robles Zakola. Up to Gonzalez. Gonzalez gets away from the defense, but that ball too much on it, looking for McGee, and it's knocked out of bounds for a throw-in for the Friars. And feels like the first half, right? Fenwick controlling the possession. Most of that possession has been on the outside, although they have had, a couple of set plays that have allowed them to put the ball in on goal, but another throw-in for the Friars. Down in that far corner, McGee, and once again a throw-in, and just further down into that far corner we go. McGee trapped right by the flag. That's Maria Giron down there, and
Gonna be a corner.
Gonna be a corner kick. I mean, if you can earn a corner down there like that, you did your job, and now a chance for the Friars. You're not going to get much offense in that corner when you got somebody right on your back like that. So if you can turn it into a corner kick, you're doing some good work there. And Kiara McGee has earned a corner for her side.
We saw 3 corners for Fenwick in that first half. This is their 4th set piece of the day, and we'll see if they go to change up the offense a little bit. No, looks like it's going to come straight in once again.
And changing the person taking it, though, that was Lucy Gruber, and just wasn't able to bend it too much, and it ends up out of the area and throwing for the Friars.
That came more towards the 18. They're going to still be on offense here as they'll have a throw-in on this near side, like what we saw not too long ago.
Braithwaite's.
Foot came up there on the throw.
Yeah, trying to get a little bit more on it, and you see what she was trying to do, trying to throw that ball into the middle of the pitch, but brought that foot up, trying to get a little bit more behind it. That ball stays in, takes a funny spin. Jocelyn James, though, knocked away by Natalie Kapusta. That'll be a corner kick for the Bulldogs. This will be Jocelyn James to take it.
Bulldogs quickly working this ball down the field the other way off of a fluky bounce right there on the line. And thought that was maybe going to go off a Friar defender and find its way out, but they managed to earn the corner. Good header out of the box there.
That was Sansone right in the middle of things defensively here as well. But the Friars aren't out of trouble. That ball's just bouncing around in the box. That ball comes through the shot, and the save is made by Sophia Freck. Ruby Boyle was right in there, and that's a great save.
I'm not sure how she was
I
able to
have
make
no
that point
idea.
blank, but she did.
And right back on the counterattack. Here comes McGee. Kiera with the shot, and she'll put it wide of the far post. Yeah, that was a great save. More defense into offense by Fenwick, but best opportunity of the match for Riverside-Brookfield, and Sophia Freck coming up large here in that one.
Coco Braithwaite coming off. Braden Roche going to replace her. We'll see if that does anything for this Fenwick attack.
We do have a change in goal. My eyes aren't as good as they once were. This is Mimi Carvalho in goal. Here's Sansone. She'll take the shot off the post and out. The rebound. The right foot save off the shot by Braden Roach. Ooh, off the post and then a right foot save made by Tennicott.
huge to keep her team in this game. And once again, another short punt. That one didn't have quite nearly the height in the last one and didn't have the distance either. So if you're Fenwick, you've got to identify that and be a little bit more aggressive on that punt or that 50-50 ball, because at that point, that's her long option, right? And if her long option is still a little bit short compared to your goalkeepers, then you can attack that, because the short option is going to be even shorter. So you can put a lot of pressure either on the midfield or that back line immediately and go right back to offense off of the goalkeeper's possession.
So I want to give credit where credit is due. That save down to our right by Fenwick just a couple of minutes ago. Mimi Carvalho, making that gorgeous save. I mean, we couldn't really see it. It was just a pile of bodies down there, but somehow she was able to get in front of it, make the save, and then right back the other way. The Friars with 2 point-blank golden opportunities off the post. Quinn Sansone, and then Braden Roach absolutely robbed by the right foot of Maya Tennicott. So we're down under 30 minutes.
Goalkeeping has been superb in this one.
Yeah, it's been good so far.
The 3 different keepers that we've seen.
Yeah, it's been really, really good so far.
We're going to have about 4 different changes here for the Bulldogs on the next stoppage, but in the meantime, we're going to have a Friars throw-in right past half.
I think if you're the Friars, you feel, not to sound like the master of the obvious, but you feel a whole lot better about things here if you can find that second, right? In a 1-goal game, you make a mistake, you look up, it's in the back of your net, it's 1-1. But if you have a 2-goal lead, you at least have a bit of a margin for error, and it's kind of what you're looking for here if you're the Friars, right, is that margin of error.
Yeah, we talked about it at the end of that first half. Of course, yeah, that is going to relieve a lot of the pressure. But I think, you have a good first half, maybe not the best that you could have seen out of your side. Maybe you would have liked to, get through that back line at least one more time. Even if you didn't score, just give them something to think about. But we'll see if that can happen a little bit more here in this second half. But the Bulldogs have found a little bit more of their offensive. We've seen a couple of rushes the other way like this one.
Cutting off Leah Becker was Fiona McKinnon, though, and the 2 of them will battle along the sideline and be a throw-in for Fenwick. And here come those 4-pack of substitutions. It'll be Abigail Ford back in, Jalen Manjarez back in. There's a couple more.
Actually, they're going to come back
right back out.
This is a Friar throw, so
Yep.
I thought the whistle did cut the air.
I heard the whistle, and then I heard it again when he said, get off the field.
He said, never mind. And, the center referee, he was the one who made the call for because actually the AR, I don't believe, saw the final touch on that one.
Ball's thrown through. Carvalho is there to scoop it up, though.
So if you're awarding it to Fenwick and then you're blowing the whistle, I mean, maybe he was blowing the whistle to signal that it was actually going to go Fenwick's way, but Fenwick already had the ball in their hands ready to throw it in, so there wasn't any confusion that warranted a whistle.
Ruby Boyle down to the far side. Offside flag is up. And it'll be Fenwick ball here.
But despite that one lapse of judgment, great job by the officiating crew today. We've seen pretty much every call go the correct way. Nothing to really complain about here.
No, it's been a pretty clean game on both sides. Not a ton of physicality. We've seen some bumping, but some bumping is okay. Here's Roach. We'll tap it back to Zarovich. Zarovich right through the middle of the field. She'll take the space. She keeps walking forward, tries to throw it through to Samson. Here's Roach. Roach top of the box, gets double teamed, still moving forward with it, knocked away from her. And back to midfield where it bounces over the head of McKinnon and forces Kapusta to go back and play it against Ruby Boyle. So again, that ball, a little bit of a wet hop and go towards the Bulldogs. And now they'll make their substitutions.
You got to think that lack of physicality that you talked about maybe is because of the conditions here today. You don't want to take yourself off your cleats, right? You don't want to try to muscle someone too hard and fall down yourself. Also, the ball's taking some odd patterns, but in addition to that, this is just a 1-goal game, so we're into the last 25 here. You got to think the changes a little bit, right? You got to think that the Bulldogs start to get a little bit more aggressive if Fenwick's on the ball, and Fenwick themselves are going to have to step it up a little bit if they want to continue to defend and keep a clean slate against this Bulldog team.
Now you'll see the Bulldogs probably move that back line up a little bit as the game progresses. And I mean, physicality for the sake of physicality, like, you know, you can hurt your team that way. So the game just hasn't required it. It's been clean so far on both sides. And Fenwick with a 1-0 lead. The only goal of the game is scored by Kiera McGee. Here's Sansone with some speed. She keeps moving forward, and we get a whistle and a foul called on the Bulldogs. Or is that going to go on? No, it's going to be on the Bulldogs.
It's going to be, yeah.
Yep, I saw Quinn put her hands up. I thought maybe they called it on her, but no, it will be a foul. And again, good opportunity here. Outside the 18, about 7 or 8 yards from the corner of the far side of the box.
That line's going to get moved back just behind the 18 from that angle there from the corner.
Chipped into the area, the ball bouncing away from Tennicott, and she's able to dive on it. Good attempt by Quinn Sansone to throw that into some bodies and hope for a friendly bounce, but Tennicott taking advantage of the fact that she's the only one who can use her hands.
Great job by the keeper right there, stepping off of her line and coming out to corral the rebound after it came off of her the first time. We saw Fenwick move up a little bit there to try to win that 50-50 ball, so the aggression that I was talking about was needed after a punt was there. Just didn't quite win the 50-50 ball, and now the Bulldogs will earn a free kick here from their own half.
Ball's headed back by Fenwick, taken over by Raymond. That ball just skips past Anusha James. And Mary Dobry will come in for Stephanie Gonzalez. Dobry had a good attempt in that first half on a long switch down the near side. Throw in for McKinnon. Fiona, it's a good throw in by McKinnon. Got a lot on that.
Friars were just a step away from breaking through that defensive line.
Sansone again. She had a chance. She had able to settle the ball down. And that ball too far out in front of Anusha James for a go across the end line or go out of bounds down in the corner for a throw in. I think it's going to be a throw in down in that near corner.
Big one. Big one.
Sideline was calling for a big throw in.
Big throw in. You want to get that ball as far away out of your corner as possible.
So far it's worked for them. Might be, oh actually, no, this is going to go for a Bulldogs throw in.
Yep.
It's hard to get a big one. Oh, well.
Oh, they're calling a foul.
Oh, it's a foul. No? A little confusion there.
Oh, they did call a foul, but right along the sidelines. So maybe too much contact playing that ball.
Yeah.
This will be Sophia Sanchez spins the ball towards the top of the 18. And ball pinballs around and knocked straight up in the air by Raymond. Panduro tries to settle it down and can't. Fenwick pinned in a little bit here, still up 1-0. And Sophia Sanchez, I think, looking for Anusha James, but Anusha went in, that ball went out, and that'll be a goal kick.
Yeah, that'll cross the end line. Just over 21 minutes to go here in this second half.
It's been a solid showing by Fenwick today. We said that kind of in the first half, right? It's been a solid defensive game. Their goalies really haven't been under siege much. They've done a really good job with possession. And they got enough offense so far. You'd like more, but they've gotten enough so far.
Yeah, they're playing comfortably. You know, they have their shape. You're not seeing them move out of it too much. You mentioned on the other side of things that the Bulldogs may try to pull up their defensive line. They have, but they're not keeping that flat four in the back. So, I mean, you don't have to worry too much about getting caught off sides. You could be a little bit more aggressive if you're Fenwick. As for Fenwick, you see they have that flat four back there, if you notice that, as they swing the ball to the far side. So they're still trying to hold the Bulldogs. We haven't seen too many offside calls here, but they're just protecting their own half and playing a calm game.
This is taken by McKinnon. Fiona McKinnon forward to Roach. Roach just missed a goal by about 6 inches about 10 minutes ago. Well, there's a good play by Ruby Boyle to spin away. Now Boyle with some space. Boyle into the area. And that's good defense by Kotinik to just take the ball away, as Boyle had a lot of space. Kotinik closed quickly and just knocked it away.
I just mentioned that there was calmness out of the Fenwick side of things, and then here comes a rush from the Bulldogs. But
yeah, they got a rush, but then you saw Chloe Kotinik being very comfortable in that defensive position in that one-on-one battle.
right.
Top of the area. Played here by Brunick. Given away. That ball rolled to space. Mary Dobry tries to run it down, but can't as she bumps into Manjares. Down to about 19.
That ball just slipped out of her
It
hands,
did,
so
yep.
they're going to let her
do it again.
get back to the line and actually throw this in.
They call that a mulligan in golf. An accidental hit.
Yes, yeah.
Ball's just chipped over the top, and you see Fenwick. They had all 10 players back in that final third. Kind of back things up a little bit with the lead. No reason to take any chances. If you get an opportunity, run onto it, but no reason to get yourself out of position as a couple of Bulldogs run into each other there. Pandoro will come out of the pack with the ball, though, and tries to find Aylin Romero, but it's too far out in front of her. A couple of subs for the Friars. Coco Braithwaite and Stephanie Gonzalez back in.
Just as you mentioned, out of position. Yeah, they midfield for the Bulldogs. A little miscommunication there. I wouldn't necessarily say out of position, but their triangle got a little too tight, maybe a little ball watching there, and just not sure where they were going to go with it. Leads to a loss of possession there.
Throw in for the Friars as we approach 18. Bulldogs, as they've moved up a little bit, have started to have a little bit better job with the possession game, as that shot will go well wide by Pandoro as they try to get the equalizer here in the final 18 minutes. Mimi Carvalho set to take the goal kick. It's bodied down by Pandoro, and she'll come right back with it. Gonzalez content to just chip it to the other side of the field. Braithwaite tries to anticipate the pass and does, and it's going to lead to a possession for the Friars as Zarovich finds Coco, knocked away from her. You throw in for Fenwick. McKinnon will go backwards with it. Find Capusta, who's got no one within about 20 yards of her. He's content to hold. Kotinik. Kotinik will find Carvalho. Mimi, far side of the field. Roble Zakola knocked out of bounds for a throw in for Fenwick.
Calm back end for Fenwick. They used the goalkeeper on that one, and you're just going to make the Bulldogs run out of juice here, right? You know, they have to get back on the ball. They're down in this game, and if you can play that into some uncontested, unpressured area on your back end, that just takes seconds off the clock, and it's going to make the Bulldogs work harder.
Also helps when you have a goalie who stops 80% of the shots that are thrown at her. Mimi Carvalho's had a terrific season, 1.61 goals against and an 800 save percentage. Out of bounds for a throw in, and you know, sometimes they say the best defense is a good offense. If you can keep Riverside-Brookfield hemmed in their own zone and on their own side of the pitch, they're not going to be able to score.
They'll knock that one back off the defense and earn themselves another throw in. So the 4 subs that we have in front of us here for the Riverside-Brookfield Bulldogs, they'll have to wait just a little bit longer, but they want to get those reinforcements in there, get those fresh legs.
Almost jumping on that was Madison Zarovich, and we'll have a corner kick as a 5th. We now have a quad pack of substitutions getting ready to come in for the Bulldogs.
It looks like 5 now, though.
Yeah, No, I said a quad. That's 4,
quad,
right?
Quad's 4, yeah.
Quad's 4.
5
A
corner
pent
kicks
pack?
and
A pent pack? Is that a thing?
yeah.
Pent pack?
Penta, is it? Yeah.
Ball into the box off the
Oh.
head of Sansone, trying to find that that near post rather, but just shoots it wide. Good idea.
Well, if you're Fenwick, you found your target there. That's Sansone in the middle there, and that's who you wanted on the head of, but just going wide of that far post. And the Bulldogs will get an opportunity to throw their 5 players in there after that whistle and before this goal kick.
And Edith Runyon will come back in, replacing Mary Dobry. So we're down under 15.
Good touch there from Fenwick.
And right onto the foot of Zarovich, who was able to deaden the ball. Now Robozakola dribbling through some traffic. She's knocked down from behind. There's the whistle. Right call. Right call, more good whistles by these referees.
This one's a little bit further out. Probably don't expect this one to go on net. They're going to line up at the 18, and actually the Bulldogs' defense is below the 18. That's a big kick, too.
Oh, the
it
shot
does come on net.
Yeah, just over the crossbar. That ball looked like one of those that had the right angle that was going to come down behind the goalie but inside the net, but ends up just on the top of the net. I think that was Kiera McGee who took that shot from the far side.
Maya Tenekata is not the shortest goalkeeper, so there's not a whole lot of room in between there, like you mentioned, and if they want to try to drop that down. But look out, here come the Bulldogs the other way.
Charlotte Pinnock. It'll be a throw-in, as getting back defensively was Natalie Kapusta. 13 and a half left now. Friars still hanging on to that 1-goal lead. Kiera McGee in the first half, the only goal of the game. This will be Leah Becker. Ball bounces away from Becker, and Friars will take possession, and they're content to just clear it out right in front of us. We'll have a throw in right in front of us with 13 minutes left.
This is a crucial time in this game. You've got just over 10 minutes to go, and the Bulldogs are starting to find a little bit of offense along this sideline here. Can you keep them out like you've been?
Friars have done a good job defensively. Bulldogs really only one, you would say, grade A opportunity in this game. That was in this half. That was a nice save made by Mimi Carvalho. And
Ooh.
yeah, we're getting our first stoppage, and we're going to get our first card. Yeah, that's going to be, I think, on Edith Runyon. Yep. Edith will get the yellow card for that tackle from behind.
Yeah, the ball was already out of play. It almost looked like both attacker and defender were past that line as well, and you just got the hands on the back a little bit there, but nothing to worry about too much. She's going to get subbed out here.
Yeah, Mary Brunick back in. Hey, go out with a bang, as they say, right?
Yeah, right.
Get the yellow card, go to the bench.
She's kind of just laughing it off, and not in a malicious way,
No,
I can't believe I just did that
oops,
way.
what did I just do kind of way, yeah. Sansone spins away.
Good protection there.
Does a good job playing it to safety. Gets it right back.
Once again, playing it with her left foot as she turns to protect it.
Braithwaite, Coco top of the area. No one there to help her, though. That's played back for Brunick. Brunick gets some space. Brunick now near side McKinnon. McKinnon left foot, Braithwaite. Braithwaite in the box. The shot by Coco skips through it in. Coco Braithwaite gives the Friars a 2-0 lead. It's her 7th goal of the season, and you talk about this wet turf. That one just skipped through the left arm and body of Maya Tenekot, and the Friars have got that insurance here, Mike.
Yeah, that one is quite literally probably the dagger in this one with just about 11 minutes to go here. You got to think that if you're the Bulldogs, that's exactly what you don't want to happen, right?
Yeah.
You're just starting to find your offense, but beautiful ball movement from the Friars from one side of the field to the other as they keep it in that final third along the 18, and then they find Coco. She was wide open a couple of times right in the middle there, but just either had her back and wasn't able to turn towards the net, but that time, just take that shot, right? And you talk about how the conditions are today. You're going to find a weird bounce or something that's going to fool the goalkeeper as you shoot it across the mouth.
We're getting a yellow card called on Riverside-Brookfield here. That'll be Abigail Ford.
We'll get
So
one sub.
Sansone will take the kick here. But yeah, I mean, that goal, I mean, Sansone wasn't directly involved in the goal, but it was that possession by Quinn in the midfield, right? She got triple teamed, played it back to her back line, got the ball back, and this one's through, and that's a good save by Tennicott. Got the ball back, and then just good passing, finding Braithwaite open. And you're right, she was wide open a couple of times, and she was able to skip that shot inside the far post.
That's a bigger punt than we've seen all day, but yeah, you talk about the offense there for the Friars, and I mean, it was just perfect from start to finish.
That was really good possession,
good protection. If you couldn't turn, you had a defender or a teammate there on your back ready to like lay it off, and man, just perfect work right there. Nothing that the Bulldogs really could have done. I could have told you that last free kick was coming on net. You got a 2-goal lead and might as well throw one at the net. Easy save, though, through the wall. Once again, Bulldogs not holding that 18. That's not the style of soccer that they want to play. They're not really holding a flat back either, so they're allowing a lot of space for Fenwick to either get in positions that they would normally be offsides or send that ball in on a free kick in a dangerous area.
One offside called in the whole game, and it was on Riverside-Brookfield.
Yeah.
Just not forcing it by moving that line up. You know, on the same token, Fenwick hasn't been playing a lot of that long ball, which is where a lot of those offsides will come. But here's an attack the other way. Zarovich with some space. Should just keep coming forward. Eventually cut off, though, by Giron. And there's a tackle from behind. McGee will be whistled for the foul there. As we approach the 10-minute mark. On the near side, ball skips up over the head of Fiona McKinnon. Good ball, though, played here by the Friars. Brunick, Braithwaite, taken away by Barajas. Ruby Barajas now forward for Camila Martinez. Martinez cross, nobody home, and ball bounces away from Robles Acola, but fortunately for Addie, the Bulldog runner fell down.
She had an overlapping defender on this near side on the line. And if you could get that ball and lay it off to the line, you've got a clear-cut path to the corner and then a cross in. Instead, she tried to cross that a little early, and this one's going to go out of play. But they do get the throw-in on the Bulldog side of things.
So we approach the 9-minute mark. That's into Pinnock, Charlotte Pinnock, and ball's rolled forward, and that'll be a goal kick for Fenwick. Final home game of the year for the Friars.
One more sub here.
We'll be back on Friday. Back on Friday for girls lacrosse against Trinity. It's literally right around the corner. A couple blocks that way and to the right.
Yeah. Almost a neutral site, basically.
That's right. And then Saturday morning we'll be back here for softball against DePaul College Prep. And then I think that's it for the spring. We'll be back in the fall for Fenwick football. Looking forward to that. And this is it for, I think, spring sports this week. Happy to be back at it, though, right? We hadn't been here.
Yeah.
We did the senior day for both boys and girls basketball. Saw some good basketball there.
Is that February or was that March?
That was February. I think it was actually January and February.
Oh yeah.
I think the boys the girls game was in January and the boys game was in February.
Yeah.
And we take a bit of a break, but now we're back. The clock is stopped with 8 minutes and 3 seconds left.
And referee signaled for timeout as we get one more substitution here for Fenwick. Thought that was going to be the last one on that previous whistle, but we'll get one more in here. We still have 8 minutes. There's plenty of time for substitutions, but you got to think with the dying minutes of this one and a 2-goal lead, the only substitutions we may see probably be coming from RB.
Try to get those late game attackers, right? A lot of times you'll see teams get those speedsters who haven't played much. You have a little bit more energy. Midfield. McGee run off the ball. It'll be a throw in for Fenwick. It'll be taken by Edith Runyon. Friars content to muck it up in midfield, right? No reason not to with a 2-goal lead with under 8. Don't give Riverside-Brookfield anything. Getting double teamed is Edith Runyon, taken away by the Bulldogs. And ball spins away. Getting back onto it here is Aylin Romero. Romero back to her left. We're back to midfield. Duran, Audrey Raymond, now Martinez. Back to Duran, back up in the middle. Good ball there to Valeria Martinez, but Martinez can't settle it down. It'll be a throw-in for the Friars as the clock continues to tick, under 7. Right shoulder of Duran. Ball gets through Martinez. Camila Martinez, though, almost breaks through, but just a little bump there by Chloe Kotinik to knock Martinez off the ball and allow Carvalho to get there.
Martinez had an extra little tap, a little touch right inside the box there. I thought she was home free, but the goalkeeper coming out and doing a nice job keeping this a scoreless game, keeping a clean slate for the Friars.
Down to 6. Here's Raymond. Audrey Raymond forward. Fenwick right back to the midfield stripe. Raymond bumping into Lucy Gruber. Now Romero. Raymond again. Goes up over the top, tries to hit Valeria Martinez, but too much steam on that pass. Goal kick.
Got the sun popping out for real now.
Yeah, of course, right at the end of the match, right?
Yeah, we've had all different types of weather here in this one.
There's
Next
been
thing
wind,
you know,
rain, and snow,
yeah,
maybe
I was
here
gonna
in the
say,
next
yeah,
hour.
next thing you know, it's
I think
Chicago
we're
weather.
finally done with that part of the year.
Let's hope.
Yeah, I think
being
we're
that it's
finally
May.
done with that. Yeah.
Low kick there.
And that one just skips. I mean, that was effective. That's
Yeah.
up to McGee. McGee using her speed to try to run past Raymond and Audrey Raymond. McGee wants another foul called. She's not going to get this one.
No, yeah, same expression as the last time, but
And this
referee
one,
just
this
looked
one
at
play
her.
on. Brunick plays the ball off her chin and chips it past a couple of her attackers. That'll roll in on Tennicott, who will scoop it up with 4:40 left.
a bigger kick, but once again a 50-50 ball stepped up to by the Friars.
Braithwaite tries to put it through, does find Zarovich, and Madison Zarovich on senior day puts the exclamation point on this one. It's 3-0. That was a pretty ball by Coco Braithwaite to find Zarovich, and Madison didn't miss. It's her 3rd goal of the season, and it gives the Friars a 3-0 lead.
Well, that was exactly what we talked about earlier, Aaron, is if you can win the 50-50 ball off the goal kick or the punt at center. This one was, as I said, a little bit further of a punt, but there's still not a whole lot being contested at center. So if you could just step up to it, you're going to turn that right back into some more offense, and that's exactly what the Friars did. They work it up. You mentioned that beautiful pass from Braithwaite, and that one finds its way through a gap in the defensive line, and yeah, just a nice senior night exclamation point.
Yellow
like a
card.
yellow
Yeah,
card.
that was on Kiera McGee, so she's got to go sit. And not a surprise. She was, I think, a little perturbed that she didn't get that foul called, so maybe said something on her way past. And Braden Roach will come back in as we're down to 4 minutes. And Fenwick And we saw the offense in the first half. It's clicked a little bit better here in the second half. Both their goals have been on pretty offensive sets.
A little confusion going on here, but we got the clock stopped at 4:05. It's going to be a drop ball, and the Friars are just going to take possession of it, throw it back to the goalkeeper.
It'll be played by Mimi Carvalho. Plays far side, Katinik. Now Runyon gets cut off, but continues to play the ball forward. It'll come back into the area where Katinik will take possession. Nice play there to just stop the ball, let the traffic go by. Zarovich taps it out of bounds for a throw-in. 3.5 left. Yeah, this was a pretty solid 80 minutes from the Friars today. Really only one good opportunity for the Bulldogs, and other than that, this game has been entirely black and white, and the Friars have really controlled the game from the beginning, and I think the score dictates that. The score shows that.
They could have parked the bus, Aaron. They could have taken that first goal and said, you know what, that's all we really need to get this done. Of course, you know, you're not comfortable. You weren't playing. They were playing comfortably, right? But in the back of your mind, you're going, okay, yeah, like you were saying earlier, that next goal from the Bulldogs ties this game. So you want that insurance goal, and they could have even stopped after that, but they continue on the attack like they are here.
McKinnon rolls the ball through. Hey, like I said, sometimes the best defense is a good offense, and if you're feeling it, you know, you're not taking any chances, of course, but
right. That one came by us.
Yeah, it certainly did.
If it was a little higher, I was ready to.
Yeah, we got a lot of gear up here today, more than normal. We got 2 cameras up here today and all sorts of stuff. 2 minutes left on the clock.
That one is coming over here, but still a little low.
Like, they don't have to kick it over here by us. They got a whole other part of the field.
They didn't hear me when I said I was retired.
Pushed forward here for Pinnock. Pinnock cut off nicely, though, by Kapusta, as we're down under 2 minutes as that clock continues to tick away. Yeah, you know, I mean, you see it in every sport, right? A team gets a lead and, you know, use whatever phrase you want, park the bus, go into the prevent defense, and before you know it, you look up and it's a tie game or all the momentum is on the other side. And the Friars didn't do that. They continued to push the envelope and attack, and when Riverside-Brookfield gave them opportunities, they took advantage. Here's Guzman. Guzman to James. Back to midfield with 1:10 left. Zarovich off her right hip. Now far side with it, Mary Dobry. And smartly by Dobry, just rolling it forward. So we are under a minute. We didn't really talk about the kind of the venue here. It's a really nice field.
It is.
I mean, this is, you know, I've called college games on fields that aren't as nice as this one. The Friars do it well here. This is a gorgeous field. It's in great shape.
Especially with the way our broadcast is on this side of the field, the backdrop that you get of all the architecture,
the
of some
trees
of these
and
Dominican.
the churches and everything. The shot in, the save is made by Tennicott with 17 seconds left. Yeah, you don't really think about that stuff, but you're right. It's a great backdrop for a sporting event here on the corner of Harlem and Division. 5 seconds, and the Friars will improve to 7-5-4 with a convincing 3-0 victory here today over Riverside-Brookfield. Goals today scored by Kiera McGee, Coco Braithwaite, and Madison Zarovich, and a shared shutout for Sophia Freck and Mimi Carvalho. Well, this was a good one. Fenwick played really well today. It was a solid 80 minutes offensively and defensively. They controlled possession, and again, when the Bulldogs gave them opportunities, they took advantage of it, Mike.
That is true. A great all-around game, both defensively and offensively from the Friars. And despite the early weather conditions, that didn't affect them at all. Got to give props to the Bulldogs, too. They hung in there.
Yep.
Maybe the wheels fell off the bus a little bit towards the end, but they did what they could. They took a little bit more chances, and we'll get a handshake line, and that's the game.
That is the game. The Friars win this one 3-0. So that's going to do it here from Fenwick. The Friars win, and we'll be back on Friday for girls lacrosse against Trinity. For Mike Napolitano, my name's Aaron Shellen. Have a great rest of your night.